Most of us think that science is a reliable source of knowledge, of course, built on research, peer review, evidence, but
double-blind studies, all that stuff.
Yeah, but a new study is raising serious concern about how that system is being exploited, Anthony Ponce. And we have some new information coming out of Northwestern University. So there's a professor, Luis Amaral, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, and his team have uncovered widespread organized scientific fraud from what they say. So we're going to bring in this professor, Luis, and talk about what's going on and what it means for all of us. Let's see if he can join us live.
Professor
Good morning,
Amaral.
Professor.
Did we get your last name correct?
Yeah, pretty good.
Okay, thank you for joining us, sir. Let's just start off by asking, your team has evidently uncovered widespread, organized scientific fraud. What is going on?
One thing that is important to highlight is that this does not mean that the majority of scientific research is fraudulent. What it means is that we're finding evidence that there is an organized effort by some groups to produce scientific papers that are not based on real work. And we believe that this is concerning enough that we wanted to highlight this trend so the problem can be addressed quickly and reversed.
So what groups are you talking about, Luis?
So there are essentially two groups of people that will engage in fraud. And it's interesting that the previous feature was about raising children and giving them appropriate values, because, of course, one of the groups is the one of people that have no values, right? Yeah. They want to be famous, they want to be the best, they are hyper competitive, and they will do anything to win at a game, including the game of science. And so by producing fake papers, they can be more productive than regular people, right? Regular scientists. They can produce lots and lots of research that actually contains nothing. The even more dangerous part of this is the people that are producing research that is fake to push a particular point of view. And one of the areas in which this is happening a lot is actually related to vaccines. There have been many groups that have produced fake research in which results were tempered, trying to show that vaccines are dangerous. And I mean, this is one of the most dangerous things going on. Vaccines are incredibly safe. If you ever walk on a cemetery and look at graves from about 100 years ago, you would see the gigantic number of children that would die. And that has stopped because of vaccines. So there are these areas in which some groups are working with some pseudoscientists to push some ideas that will make them money, but are actually very nefarious for society as a whole.
This is so concerning because, yeah, you start with the end goal. This is the narrative we want, and then we're going to just work backwards from there and produce the research that backs that up. Luis, how widespread is this?
So it's still a small fraction of the literature in general, right? I mean, 0.01% or something like that.
Okay.
The reason why we are very, very concerned is that it's growing very fast. And I have to say that the emergence of generative AI, like large language models, ChatGPT, and so on, actually is boosting this ability to create fraudulent science. And so we are concerned about a future in which anyone can produce something that looks like legitimate research, but it's not. And what we found out is these criminal organizations that enable this kind of junk slop to kind of poison the literature because they infiltrate some journals. And when they are there, they are able to kind of get this junk published in what are sometimes legitimate and reputable scientific journals.
Okay, so what can an everyday person do to decipher between real and fraudulent information then?
So this is one of the interesting things, and we hear a lot about people doing their own research, and I would caution about people doing their own research. Doing research is actually something very complicated. We go through an entire process to help people learn how to do research. That's called a PhD. That takes many years and lots of work. So the idea is to try to identify experts that can be trustworthy. And I have to say that I have very deep concerns about what's going on with this administration, because they are firing experts in many, many different areas that are the people required to help us make sense of what the research is saying, how confident we are on some results. I've seen what's going on with the CDC, the EPA, the FDA, the National Weather Service as very worrisome, because we are getting rid of the people with the expertise to tell the public what to trust or not to trust.
This is so concerning because for non-scientists, I mean, Luis, we rely on these publications to filter the bad stuff and separate the wheat from the chaff. So if I'm looking at the Journal of American Medicine, I expect everything in that to be legit, right? As opposed to just some random website, right? I'm getting the rap from my producer, but is there anything that these publications, these medical journals can do to quality check what they're publishing?
So they do, and many of them try very hard. But you have to realize that no system is perfect.
Yeah.
And so, it's like scientists are not saints, right? They are humans. And the vast, vast majority of scientists wants to do a good job and a trustworthy job. But there will always be some small number of people that have other goals, and those can infiltrate and trick you. And that's why we have things like retraction of studies, because people later on find out that there was an issue and they go and say, look, this study cannot be trusted. We have to take it out of the literature. So people are doing what they can. The issue is that the availability of tools to produce legitimately looking but fraudulent research are increasing. Think about what a reporter has to deal with fakes, right? It's kind of AI can generate things that look real, and it becomes harder, and we all have to develop new approaches to deal with this new reality. And that's what we are calling attention to. Science has enabled many good things. Imagine how many people would have died during the pandemic if we didn't have the COVID vaccines.
We will proceed with caution, sir. Professor Luis Amaral, we are out of time. That's where we're going to have to leave the conversation. But the post-truth era continues. Thank you, sir. We appreciate your time.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Luis.
Okay, we just got to be,
Wow.
you have to have your head on a swivel with this information just to make sure we are, especially in this industry,
Things
you
are
can't
ever
be too
changing. Yeah.
all the time. Okay.